Welcome back to the Fowls. The season is turning and the heather is in bloom, painting the uplands in a purple hue as autumn takes hold. The storms are rolling in, sheets of rain sweeping across the hills, mornings cloaked in heavy mist. Darkness creeps at the edges now, and the cold begins to linger. There's a sinking to each step as you trudge slowly through the sodden moor. The landscape feels alive, like a creature from folklore, eager to steal away a boot and keep you in its grasp. This is the Cumbria I know best. Early autumn is also the time that we say goodbye to most of our bumblebees. Typically, only the new queen survives winter, hibernating alone until the spring. As the seasons shift, I always find it's worth doing a little check-in on what's ahead, and I thought maybe this could be a fun little exercise for you too, particularly if the weather is bad. So get yourself a hot chocolate and get cosy and come along for the ride. As an avid reader and writer, I always find that I articulate my thoughts best through writing. So I always used the tried and tested method for goal setting, which is to write out your goals. Though I always found there was a bit of a disconnect, and I used to struggle with figuring out what my goals even are. So for me, the whole goal setting process is less about striving ahead to achieve certain milestones and more about feeling aligned and having things just fall into place rather than trying to force them. So 5 years ago, I created my first vision board or mood board, whatever you want to call it. I think my mum actually came up with this idea to try this method, and it became a container for my values and my priorities. That first vision board came at such a pivotal point. I was looking at leaving my freelance work and going fully solo on running my own business. We were living at the other end of the country in the military patch, and we were also looking at buying our first home. Everything that was on the board has played out in some shape or form, and it's pretty wild to just stop and realise that and look around, and the things that I see, so my actual vision now, is reflected back at me from the board. It's all things off the board, like some kind of Jumanji mojo. Because when I look back at all of the decisions that we made over those 5 years, and we made some really big life-changing decisions, at the time, they didn't make sense. They weren't the logical choice. So had we used purely that critical thinking brain, then we would probably be somewhere else entirely. But creativity can be the better problem solver. So I thought I would just take you through this very simple process, just in case it's something that could help you. Whether you think you're a creative person or not, we're all creative in our own way. And for most of us, visuals are such a prominent way that we interact with the world. So why not utilise that if you're not already? So let's head over to the office and I will take you through my mood boarding process. So I like to work in Canva. I do have Canva Pro, though you can just get started with their free version. And I think it's always worth having a starting point rather than working with a completely blank page. So we're going to go into their templates and have a look at some photo collages, just to have something to work with. That one's nice. Ooh, this one's really nice. Let's use this one. Colour is a really big aspect for me. As you've seen in my videos, I do like to colour grade towards this autumn tone. It's also the colours that I like to wear. I feel most like myself when I'm wearing autumn tones, and also it's how I like to decorate my home. So you can just see by starting delving into visuals how it can create that cohesion in what you're doing. This is a nice starting point, but obviously it's important to be intentional about picking your own images because that's what's going to be meaningful for you. And we're going to start with a central image. So this is going to be your North Star. And for me, in my previous mood board, this one in the middle was a cottage. And now here I am sitting in my cottage. So we're going to create something new here. So let's go over to elements and find a new image. So we can go into photos and just see what stock photos they've got. And this is just a really quick way to get started. Obviously I can pull in my own images if I wish, and I can upload those here. But this is just a really quick way to do it. So let's pull this one in. Now for me, I think my biggest vision moving forward would be to have my own land and either have some woodland on that or plant a woodland. On my previous vision board, I had calm walks with Cam. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know that we've had a lot of stress previously with out of control dogs. As unfortunately, since we moved here, he has been set upon by 3 different dogs, and all he wants to do is just to mind his own business and sniff and just do the spaniel thing of, you know, having a nice run around. So I would love to have my own land so that I know that we can go somewhere and just really relax and feel nice and safe. And I'd also like to grow my own vegetables, so let's put in veg garden. Have a look what we've got here. You can see some of these are going to be a bit more stock than others. I really like to find ones like this that look quite natural. So let's get more specific. I would really like to have, let's have some raised veg beds. So let's take a look at this one. You can spend longer really honing in on the images that you're looking for, but I think these fit together quite well. That looks like it could be a corner of this sort of meadow and little woodland, so I think that's going to work nicely. When I got started with YouTube, I knew that I just wanted to delve into these visuals more, and I didn't know where it would lead, and through that I've discovered that I absolutely love editing, so that is definitely something that I want to do more of and have that play a bigger part of my work. So let's take a look at what we've got. Let's have editing set up, see if we can find something nice and cozy looking. That one's got quite a nice light to it. Let's have a look at this one. I quite like to have ones that really show something in action, so I do quite like that one because you can see that is editing. And then let's also pull in this one that I found at the top, because this really demonstrates doing the voiceovers, and again that's something I love. So when I was a child I had a tape machine with cassettes, and I used to create my own audiobooks. I narrated some of the Harry Potter books. I don't know if we still have those, but it would be funny if I could find them. Let's have a look if we can find another audio, what should we call that, narration. That could be quite a nice one. We make it a little bit smaller, because obviously that is not me, but she's got brown hair, so that can work. I'm going to pop that in the corner, and we will give it a little bit of a border as well. So just pop that one there. This is the direction that I'm looking at moving towards. I also really want to move more towards the filming. So let's have a look at what we've got. So let's be more specific. Do you filming outdoors? Now I have got my own shots of me doing this, which would probably work better. However, just for speed, we're just going to pull in something. So let's put DSLR outdoors, because I do film most of my videos on my phone, and I would like to move towards using a DSLR for more of my shoots. So that's nice. Let's put you up here. I think another important aspect of this is to not limit yourself or critique what you're doing as you're doing it, because it's really easy to write goals and then think, well, I'm never going to be able to achieve that, I'm not going to be able to afford that, I'm not going to have the time or the energy or whatever to do that. So this is really important, just to have a play around. So let's go for a fun one. Let's go Land Rover, because I've always wanted an old Land Rover or a Defender, and it would help us where we are now to have a 4x4. What about this one? So let's pop you in there and make you a little bit bigger so we can see. There we go, make that central, just about. Alright, that'll do. I think I'm going to edit the colours slightly of this because it's quite dark, and I want to have a little bit more of those nice green saturations, warm it up a little bit just to fit it in with these images a little bit more. That'll do. So this doesn't have to be something that's just an object or something superficial. It can have a deeper meaning and purpose, and for us, we now do live down a very rocky track, so this fits in quite well. And just being out and about in the countryside more is definitely what we want to be doing. And we've got the forest in the background, which again ties in with this. So I think this works as a dual purpose here. So I might actually keep this image here because I've always got an image that signifies coziness. Normally a nice hot chocolate, candles, we've got some dried flowers here. We've got a window that looks like it's single pane, and we've also got a book. So that is my cozy time, and that is definitely something that I want to spend more time on. I do spend a lot of time working, and I would like to be able to relax a little bit more and just enjoy those sort of simple pleasures. So we will keep that one. So let's take that cozy home theme and just expand on it a little bit more. So let's have a look to see what we've got. So one of the things that I want to do as a home project is turn the kitchen into more of a hobbit kitchen. There's already a lot of curves down there. The whole roof down there is stone and it's curved, so it sets itself up really nicely for being a nice little hobbit hole. Let's have a look if we've got any hobbit kitchens. I don't know that they've got any interior shots, so let's take a look at what we can find just over on Google. That one. Let's save that. Let's see if we can be more specific. Bag end kitchen. So I want Bilbo's actual kitchen because we have got, so our little window is in an arch like this. The window itself obviously is not circular, but it is in an arch and we've got arches. Okay, that'll do. We'll jump back over. Okay, so let's add that in over the top for now. So hopefully that's a project that I can cover on my channel. I think that'd be quite a fun one to do, turning my kitchen into Bilbo's kitchen. And then let's add in another image of, let's do fireplace. One of the images I had on my previous vision board was a fireplace, and it was actually an open fire. And I now do have an open fire, however, it's not the most efficient and best warming the space. So one of the projects we're going to do is probably replace the inset, and it will look almost the same, but it will just have a door on the front of it. But that is going to make a big difference to living here, is to just warm the space up a bit more. That's a nice cozy image. So you can obviously spend a bit of time and mess around with like how you want it to look. You can start to see how this begins to shape up. I don't think we need a million of these, but let's pop you over in the corner here maybe. So when I did a vision board at the start of the year, I wanted to get more into running, and that's been something that I have been doing, and when I'm actually looking at doing my first ultra at some point. So let's have a look at what we've got for running. I doubt we've got any fell running, but we'll take a look. Oh, trail running. Okay, here we go. That's a bit better. So these are obviously events. I don't know that I'm particularly looking at doing a specific event. Maybe at some point. I quite like that one because there's two people in it, and Ryan and I really enjoy doing together. So let's maybe go for that one because that's got the mountains in it. It's got two people, so that can be Ryan and I. And let's put you over here. So I really do like this image here, and it's a shot that I've actually captured myself in video, something very similar to this with the berries and the autumn colours. So I don't necessarily need to have that because that is now very integral to what I'm doing. Okay, and then let's round this off. I definitely want to have more family time moving forward, so that's spending more time with my parents, and I've actually quite enjoyed getting the train down to Devon rather than driving. So I mean, it'd be cool if it was a train like this. We can romanticize. So let's have you because you're definitely more of a vibe than the other trains. So we've got a photo of Ryan here, so I'm just going to pop him in here because obviously this is not actually us, but if I was doing this by myself I would spend a little bit more time and just go and find some actual photographs. But I do obviously like to have people on here, so I would get a photo of my family and I would pop it on here, and obviously also I need to get a photo of Cam. So let's see if we can remove the background on this, and then we're going to pop him over here on the edge of the meadow and the woodland, and this can signify nice, calm, chill, off-lead walks on our own land. This is really very much the dream. Here we have it. Now I've done this as swiftly as I could just to share with you the general process. I'll probably spend a little bit more time just thinking it through and tweaking it. So this is something that you can check back in with and refine over time. You can download this as an image and set it as your screensaver for your computer, or you can resize it and you can set it as a phone screen size or whatever you would like. I just find it helpful to collate my thoughts this way and use this as a bit of an anchor. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope that gave you something in there to think about. Let me know if you make your own board. I'd love to hear what your central vision is for the coming season. If you want to support the channel, you can check out my enrichment products for dogs. And special thanks as well to the Buy Me a Coffee supporters. Stay cozy, and I will see you when I see you.